discrete social groups placed in articulated opposition to each other, the bourgeoisie, sans-culotte, were defined and anatomized, and their dialectical dance routines were made the exclusive choreography of revolutionary politics. In the 50 years since the sesquicentennial, there has been a serious loss of confidence in this approach. The drastic social changes imputed to the revolution seem less clear-cut, or actually not apparent at all. The bourgeoisie, said in the classic Marxist accounts to have been the authors and beneficiaries of the event, have become social zombies, the product of historiographical obsessions rather than historical realities. Other alterations in the modernization of French society and institutions seem to have been anticipated by the reform of the old regime. Continuities seem as marked as discontinuities. Nor does the revolution seem any longer to conform to a grand historical design preordained by inexorable forces of social change. Instead, it seems a thing of contingencies and unforeseen consequences, not least the summoning of the Estates General itself. An abundance of fine provincial studies has shown that instead of a single revolution imposed by Paris on the rest of a homogeneous France, it was as often determined by local passions and interests. Along with the revival of place as a conditioner have come people. For, as the imperatives of structure have weakened, those of individual agency, and especially of revolutionary utterance, have become correspondingly more important. Citizens is an attempt to synthesize much of this reappraisal and to push the argument a stage further. I have pressed one of the essential elements into Tocqueville's argument, his understanding of the destabilizing effects of modernization before the revolution, further than his account allows it to go. Relieved of the revolutionary coinage old regime, with its heavy semantic freight of obsolescence, it may be possible to see French culture and society in the reign of Louis XVI as troubled more by its addiction to change than by resistance to it. Conversely, it seems to me that much of the anger firing revolutionary violence arose from hostility towards that modernization rather than from impatience with the speed of its progress. The account given in the pages that follow, then, emphasizes, possibly excessively, the dynamic aspects of pre-revolutionary France, without turning a blind eye to the genuinely obstructive and archaic. Important to its argument is the claim that a patriotic culture of citizenship was created in the decades after the 7 Years' War, and that it was thus a cause, rather than a product of, the French Revolution. 3 themes are developed in the course of this argument. The first concerns the problematic relationship between patriotism and liberty, which in the Revolution turns into a brutal competition between the power of the state and the effervescence of politics. The second theme turns on the 18th century belief that citizenship was, in part, the public expression of an idealized family. The stereotyping of moral relations between the sexes, parents and children, and brothers, turns out, perhaps unexpectedly, to be a significant clue to revolutionary behavior. Finally, the book attempts to confront directly the painful problem of revolutionary violence. Anxious lest they give way to sensationalism or be confused with counter-revolutionary prosecutors, historians have erred on the side of squeamishness in dealing with this issue. I have returned it to the center of the story, since it seems to me that it was not merely an unfortunate byproduct of politics, or the disagreeable instrument by which other more virtuous ends were accomplished, or vicious ones were thwarted. In some depressingly unavoidable sense, violence was the revolution itself. I have chosen to present these arguments in the form of a narrative. If, in fact, the revolution was a much more haphazard and chaotic event, and much more the product of human agency than structural conditioning, chronology seems indispensable in making its complicated twists and turns intelligible. So, Citizens returns, then, to the form of the 19th century chronicles, allowing different issues and interests to shape the flow of the story as they arise, year after year, month after month. I have also, perhaps perversely, deliberately eschewed the conventional survey format by which various aspects of the society of the old regime are canvassed before attempting political description. Placing those imposing chapters on the economy, the peasantry, the nobility, and the like at the front of books automatically, it seems to me, privileges their explanatory force.